Greetings, this is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster. Stop! Go on! Greetings, this is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster, and this is a reshoot of the Guardians of the Galaxy review. I went outside to attempt to film it outside. It was windy and muggy and people walking around, and you couldn't hear anything I was really saying. There's about 8 minutes of footage that sort of vaguely talks about the movie. Yes, this review is going to contain spoilers relating to the plot because you can't tell the movie otherwise what the plot. So yeah, the Guardians of the... I went to see the movie at the early show at 9:30 on today's May 5th, and yeah, inspired by the live blog of the Stone Gremlins doing it, I wanted to do a faux live blog. Didn't work. Didn't turn out. So I had to go back and do it now. I also saw the Sibling Rivalry one on the other channel and did a thing on that. But basically these two other channels liked it. Kevin Smith has not reviewed it yet. Red Letter Media, I don't think has reviewed it just yet, but probably will, unless like the other one, unless like the World of Warcraft movie, they just ignore it completely. So anyway, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is pretty good. Yeah, it's good. It's very good actually. Very pretty, very outlandish. I suppose in 3D it would be amazing, but I can't see 3D. Saw the 2D XD version at the local theater and packed house, except for those on the far right, my row. There were previews for The Mummy, slightly different preview of The Mummy. Looks kind of boring, even though it has action in it. It was like, yeah, the end of the Tom Cruise movie where the guy's pushing 55, and yeah. And we got the Star Wars Episode 8 preview, which is identical to the one on the internet. Comic-Con preview with the line, "The Jedi must end," at the end. Yeah, and The Last Night. So we got like Last Jedi and Last Night. We got Transformers The Last Night. They showed a little more of that. They imply that it's a female robot of some kind that takes over Prime's thoughts and turns him into Nemesis Prime, I guess. And then he goes on a spree to take out the humans, which doesn't make any sense. It is a very similar plot to my fan film, The Transtech. But it's also similar to the Nemesis Prime plot in Transformers Prime, this is Kurtzman. So it's possible that, in fact, that is what they're taking off of. They can't be taking... Why would they bother with mine? I didn't make any money. They wouldn't use mine. Mine's free. Mine's actually more creative, and the robots have personalities. But I'll watch The Last Night, and I'll review it, just like I did the other ones. And, yes... but yeah, he should give the robots personalities. Not necessarily making good robots evil, but giving them personalities. Yeah, anyway, so back to Guardians of the Galaxy, which is the movie Suicide Squad was trying to be, and the movie everybody's trying to imitate. The first one was heavily influenced, therefore, other studios like Marvel and DC. Marvel influenced DC and Fox, and the other try to imitate it. But as you can see, the James Gunn and his crew and his brother, who has a cameo in it, are having fun. I don't think the Marvel people are having so much fun, although I guess the cast of Wonder Woman enjoyed that's one of the previews they showed, Wonder Woman. So yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is the search for the father figure. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 starts in 1980 and introduces us to a very bizarre, de-aged version of Kurt Russell and the mother of Star-Lord. That is changed from the comic book. In the comic book, it's a king of some random planet. I didn't bother looking up the name, but he was a king. So he's a prince, which they implied in the first movie. But no, in this one, they've changed him to, spoiler, Ego, the living planet. but you probably know that from the previews. Yeah, this review has to have that because that's where they spend the majority of their time when they finally get away from the golden aliens. The golden aliens are in it, and they're kind of like Data if he'd gone like evil and rogue and stuff, which he did in that one episode. So they remind me of Data. They're chasing after the Guardians because the raccoon has taken off with their batteries, but the raccoon has also taken off with but the rest of them has also taken off with their prisoner, who is Gamora's sister Nebula, who has been freed. Meanwhile, the blue dude is looking for them, and I've forgotten his name. But yeah, I don't know all of them, so. Yeah, the ones that had weird names, I just don't call them so much. Anyway, so we continue. He does the sort of, in the movie, he does the sort of Han Solo / Vader / Star Wars 2 analogy in there as a hint. Yeah. So, yeah, so they go to the Ego Planet. They meet up with Kurt Russell, who reveals almost immediately who he is. They go to the Ego Planet, but it's called the Ego. It's called Ego. It's the living planet. I mean, living planets have been featured in a lot of things. And before the Transformers fans go, oh, but what Unicron? Actually, Unicron is probably borrowing from that, because Ego, the living planet, is from the '60s, as was the original X-Men in the '60s, and 20 years before Transformers. So. Anyway, also in the original X-Men movies from 2000, the X-Men comics, Wolverine wasn't introduced until the 80s, so they've already retconned that. He should be in the later on. But yeah. Anyway, so there was one of my points on the other thing. And so yeah. Star-Lord is looking for a girlfriend and ergo family. Drax is not helping. He's being obnoxious. The raccoon is Rocket's being obnoxious. The little tree Groot is their little minor character going in and out of cracks in small places and running around with space explosives and stuff. In much the same way Star-Lord was told to do when he was a child, when he was taken by the blue dude. And the whistle arrow blue dude. So there's this parallel. And then there's also a parallel with blue guy is kind of like his surrogate dad, and this ego guy comes out of the blue and tries to make him join his cult of one on his planet, and join it and then they make a cult of two out of it. And our heroes have to stop them before they do some damage, and then the golden ones are after them, and there's a big epic space battle at the end. The template of a Disney Marvel movie is usually virtually the same in all of them, but they spin the template over again and make it work. I think in this case it does work again, and just as long as they keep the villains interesting. It was pointed out on the sibling rivalry channel thing that they couldn't tell. One of them couldn't remember who the villain was. Rob and the Walkers, Rob and Doug, couldn't remember who they were. The characters on this channel, they couldn't remember. One of them, the villain, they mistook the villain for Thanos. That was somebody else. They've had unremarkable villains before. But usually they have interesting villains. They can't make the villain better than the heroes. The villain's got to be different. They did show in the preview, though, Thor Ragnarok, which includes a new villain in the form of the Grandmaster, who is a Marvel character who is going to be played by Jeff Goldblum, which is interesting. But he's also the Roman Centurion King guy. So. Yeah. So, in that preview, they allude a little bit to it in this. Also, Stan Lee's cameos are explained in this movie. spoiler again, in that he is one of the Watchers. He's one of the Prime Watchers, and that's why he keeps reappearing. There's actually a reason for his cameos if he's a Watcher, which kind of sounds a little dirty. I know it's just comic book characters, probably the Celestials. Also, the Celestials are like demigods, and they're supposed to be all powerful. There's a living tribune and all that stuff. So yeah, it doesn't make sense for him to be Ego to be the father. That doesn't really. But okay, what the movie version it is. I liked how they tied into the original Guardians of the Galaxy, and included like Sylvester Stallone's character, although what a star something another star guy, yeah, Starflight or something, and he is the original Guardian, and the others, the red dude with the magic powers, is a Sorcerer Supreme, like Doctor Strange, and it replaces him later. And there's some other guys in the background that were from Doctor Strange and this Guardians, like the '60s Guardians, which is cool. Referenced, but there's retconning even in these movies in that Star-Lord in this version is the '90s Star-Lord, not the cop one that comes from the planet with the two red suns, planets in orbit. Yeah, that's a different guy. Well, they referenced the cop guy in the first one, but Star-Lord was originally a cop guy. But in this version, he's the renegade already. He's already become a renegade. So they just sort of ignored that. Because he's more interesting for him to be a renegade. Yeah. James Gunn and all right. Sure. Yeah, so there's a major space battle. There's the stuff you saw in the previews, where there's sort of this big show. There's Gamora and her sister. They show up. They do a final boss fight. I won't tell you how that ends. There's the introduction of the empathic antler girl, who befriends Drex, and Drex is constantly like jokingly trying to belittle her. I don't know why, but but it was vaguely funny, I guess. Let's see. Well, if she's an empath, she knows he's only kidding, right? Senses feelings. But yeah. So yeah, but like Troy on Star Trek was supposed to be an empath, although she acted like a telepath. She was supposed to be an empath. Spock was a telepath, not an empath. He was like detecting like thoughts. Yeah. But then he acted empathic when he had the mind melds. Yeah, Star Trek. But yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Volume 2. Go see it in theaters. It's really awesome. Cool. Yeah, I would say it's solid 4 stars. The first one was 5. I think it was practically 5, or if not 5. Solid 4 stars. One of the best movies of this year so far. Yeah, go see it. Guardians 2. Yeah. They also, yeah, I was gonna say the Kingsman, but that was later. Yeah, there was another preview, but they didn't really. All right, so this is my review. Then I have summarized it even better by recording it again. Yeah, go see it. The lighting is better too. So yeah, no wind is blowing. And is there anything else? Oh, yes. There will be a Transtech Carta type of thing this year at some point. There will Starship Chimera will be out this year at some point. A little later, yeah. Well, when Mark's Cards gets around to actually doing his final lines, 20 pages of story remain, and then we'll wrap that. And but that won't. And there's other storybooks and things coming out, and including the Starship Locations omnibus book, which which has which you don't need to worry about because at the game, but you can read it. At least this version is going to be online, and you get to read it because I have changed the names and story around so that it's not quite Star Trek. So you can read the story and sell it that way. Chimera, though, it's still Star Trek parody, and it still has the real names. Because unlike Renegades, we're not just going to change the names, even though we've got like people imitating the actors, characters, and stuff. Well, why change the names? It's stupid. You don't need to do that. They didn't say you had to do that. The guidelines, and if you have the actors, we don't have the actors, but we have the names. And yeah, fan film. No one's gonna. They're not gonna. Discovery, is postponed until fall. There was almost a writer's strike again, but we didn't convince them not to. But maybe we did. Maybe when Chimera posted saying don't have a writer's strike, don't delay it even more. It's stupid. Maybe they listened to it. Don't do that again. Maybe not. I doubt it. I like to think we have some sort of say as watchers. Ooh. Yeah. All of these infinite universes things is going to be confusing in these movies. Eventually confuse everybody. Yeah, the DC animated verse does a better job than the DC movie verse. And the Marvel animated verse isn't as good as the Fox or the animated verse or the movies. So they do better movies. They use the formula though. They use the Disney formula. It's very similar to the Disney formula during their heyday. They're copying the concept, of strong villain but stronger heroes. Their purpose is finding family or something, which sounds cheesy, but the way they did it in this movie, it works. So there's my review of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. They did not introduce the plants, the fox's, the raccoon's girlfriend yet, even though she's part of the comics. They haven't introduced her yet. But they do have a cameo by the dog Cosmo. They have a cameo by Howard the Duck, and they reorganized the Adam Warlock. It's in the credits. Everybody's already revealed it. This thing is full of spoilers. So that the cocoon that they found with the collector wasn't him, it was somebody else, and they had to make a new one. They say Adam in there. Yes, I would say that is an homage, like the Cade character in Transformers, to one of our actual names being used now in a Marvel movie, but it isn't. Adam Warlock goes back long before I was born, in the 60s Marvel movies. Oh yeah, I take it that he is one of the sorcerers because his name is Warlock, and he's one of the people that they're gonna one of the sorcerers. And Sorcerer Supreme guy, and I'm assuming that it's different from Harry Potter sorcery in some way. Yeah, a little more Inception-y and funky. Sling rings. Yeah, Jim Buffkin's favorite movie from last year. Jim to come. Doctor Strange. For some reason, he really, really liked that movie. I mean, it was great, but I don't know. Man. Of course, he also really liked Batman v Superman. I only thought that was half a good movie. And the Wonder Woman one, and that could be good, but I'm not sure. The Mummy one, though, looks kind of dumb. And I hear tale of rumor that, the X-Men First Class prequels, the next one will be a remake of The Last Stand. And then it'll be called The Dark Phoenix. Yeah, they're going to remake The Last Stand. Hopefully, okay. They don't make that suck. It could suck. Yeah. Dark Phoenix. Also, episode 8. Don't know much about that other than look at the preview and the plane crashes and those Easter eggs in that trailer are interesting. And for the hangar scene there, the planet. Yeah. So, uh, and the heroes and villains. So, yes, Carrie Fisher is actually in it. She recorded all her lines before her death, so she's in episode 8. But there's other interesting little snippets in there. So, yes, and in Transformers: The Last Night. So, we didn't sell out, but someone else did, and yeah, yeah. Guardians 2.